Hi, folks. Well, where can I begin this? If you are struggling with addiction and you would like to step out the other side into the light and out of the darkness, I'm going to give you a little advice to help you along the way. Now, for me, it was a process. Getting helpful information over time and growing into a space is what allowed me to step to the other side. As we know, lots of people don't make it to the other side in relation to escaping addiction. As was mentioned to me in one session, what do you call it? A group therapy session by one of the counselors. There were maybe like 15 of us in the room. And this was like a halfway house. And it was mentioned statistically, and I forget the numbers because we're talking decades ago, but statistically, the amount of us in that room at the time that would actually survive, actually live, make it through to the other side. I've got my earbud in here. That's what I'm using to communicate with my phone here. The amount of us that would live was small. So apparently I'm in a small minority when it comes to actually having made it to the other side. And we're talking, I got clean in 94, okay? And right now it's 2021, okay? And we're talking, I got clean and stayed clean. Now, up to that point, I had a lot of relapses. It didn't happen overnight, but in 1994, when I got clean that time, I've made it to this point in staying clean. And I'll quickly share with you that I don't even crave getting high anymore. And if you've ever had the experience, then that should mean something to you. The craving and the hardness of it didn't last forever. But it was a process to get to this point. Meaning in 1994 was the time for me that I walked through those doors. And that's another story, and I share some of it in another upload. But right now I'm just going to share some information with you that helped me get there. Let's talk about surrender. I didn't understand surrender at all. Intellectually, it made no sense to me. It's like surrender. And right now when I use a word like that, I'm talking about the AA 12-step program. Part of it is surrender. And I forget the steps now because we're talking decades ago, and that's, way in my past now. But let's let's talk about surrender. It made no sense to me. I felt like I needed to do it because nothing had worked, from my past experience. And man, I had a lot of past experience. I had a lot of failures, So surrender, let's try this one on for size. But how? I didn't understand. It's like, in my mind, it meant, what do I do? Go lay down on the floor? Just, how do I function after I do that? So interestingly enough, and I'll share with you what seems to me a stepping off point into surrender for me, because conceptually I didn't get it. I didn't know how to do that thing called surrender. How do you do it if you don't know how? Okay. And I'll share this quickly. When I did achieve surrender, and I did, I actually understood, because I was there, the empowerment that comes with it. I know that seems like contrary somehow. In surrendering, I found myself empowered. So, feeling like I needed to do it, whatever it was, I needed to embrace this thing called surrender. But it didn't click in my head. I just, how do I do it if I don't know how to do it? One night, while I was at the residential treatment facility, that was before the halfway house, and once again, you'll get more of this from another upload I did, but this was my third time there, and that's a story in itself. This is my third time at the RTF. Basically, you stay like, I forget now, 3 weeks each time. I mean, it's like a 21-day program, you know. And the halfway house afterwards, that was like, I was there for like around 6 months or something. But anyway, I'm basically, you might say, in desperation mode. My third time there. How do I do it? I don't know. So I did this thing by the side of my bed, and this might turn you off completely, because I don't know. It kind of like, in its way, was uncomfortable for me too, but I got myself on my knees by my bedside and I prayed. I did, and I can't say that I had a belief in what, I didn't subscribe to any religion, that kind of thing. But I needed to connect somehow. And I was, even back then, what one may term metaphysically oriented. I always felt like there was something more. But I didn't have a name for it, and I didn't know what. And so I couldn't let that get in my way either. So I put myself on my knees, and this is what I did. I, imagining that I needed to get help, as they say, higher power. So that concept, whatever your higher power is. For me, I didn't have a name past that, but I imagined, using my imagination and my emotion, okay, emotion for real, on my knees at my bedside, my eyes closed. Inside, silently, but projecting it outward into the universe, I imagined myself screaming with everything I had, screaming out into the universe, beyond the stars, beyond the everything, out into a place beyond my imagination, to a place where somehow my scream of desperation could be heard and answered in a way that would help me move through where I found myself. Because honestly, I was so tired. I was so tired, and I felt like I was at the base of this huge mountain that to survive, I had to climb. And I was so tired that for me, it had come to that. How do you embrace surrender when you have no clue, So that's what I did. On my knees at my bed, imagining this scream, this cry for help, this desperation. And I used my imagination, and certainly my emotions were there. You can feel that as you watch this video, I'm sure. Projecting out beyond the reality that I knew, beyond the room, beyond the building, beyond the sky, beyond the heavens, beyond the stars, out and out and out, in every direction, all at the same time, seeking help. I mean, help isn't even a big enough word, you know? And all I can tell you is that was somehow connected to me being able to embrace surrender. Because even though I don't consciously recall it right now, because we're talking about too many decades ago now for me, and a lot has gone on since then, but I actually a few times stood up at a meeting and shared what I had discovered about surrender and how intellectually, what's the word I'm looking for? Weird it seemed, because in surrendering, I actually literally felt myself empowered. So I wanted to share that with you in the hopes that somehow it'll be of benefit to you, because I really do know what it's like to be in the darkness that some of you will be finding yourselves in. And so, yeah, there it is. So you can do it. I know you can do it because I did it. Feel free to check out, I think right now I've only got one other video on this channel anyway, but it has a lot of my experience in it. And maybe you will find some benefit in that as well. Don't give up. That's important. Don't give up. No matter how many times you feel like you failed, it turns out every one is still laying a foundation to actually get you where you want to be, if where you want to be is being clean and sober. So don't give up, because you know what? If you give up, you can't get there. And yeah, listen to some of my story. It'll help you understand in greater depth how I can say with certainty that if I could do it, you can do it. Okay. Bye for now. Peace and love. And I love you. You take care of yourself. Don't give up. You can do it.